Why aren't my items selling on Depop? But today I'm going to be answering that question of why your items aren't selling, because you're probably asking yourself that question. I know I have in the past. There's a couple easy things that you can do to really help boost the chances of your items selling. The first thing we're going to start off with is photos, and this is arguably the #1 reason why items aren't selling. The biggest problem that most people have with their photos is poor lighting. Lighting is arguably the most important thing when taking photos. It can turn your photo from looking sad for itself, a little like this one's looking, to something that stands out so much more and just looks so much more visually appealing, where you can really see the item. There's a video I'll put up in the cards and in the description. In the video I talk about how to take hanger photos, flat lays and model photos, which are the best one out of the three. I really got into depth about lighting in that video and kind of how important it really is. I talk about softbox lights, and if you haven't got any softbox lights and you take your photos indoors, I would invest in them pretty quick. You can get 2 of them on eBay for only £30, so they're really cheap. They will make your photos look so much better. If you don't want to invest in softbox lights, just go outside or take your photos in front of a big window, because natural light is arguably as good, if not better, than using softbox lights. Obviously, the only benefit with softbox lighting is that you can use them indoors no matter what space, and as well, you're not time limited, where you kind of are a little bit with the sun. And as well, as you probably know, the weather's not always the best in England and the sun's not always out, so you're not always going to be able to take photos or take very good quality photos. But with these, you pretty much got 24/7 sun. Another tip that I would use when taking photos is make sure when you're taking photos to use the square setting on your phone. But how to turn on square photos, if you don't know, you got a nice little view of the floor now, but all you got to do is go up on the little arrow at the top, click the 4 to 3, click square, and there you go, you got yourself some square photos. But it's best to take your photos on this setting just where this is what Depop uses. It will make taking photos so much easier, just where you can see exactly what's going to go onto Depop. Because I know I used to have this issue. I used to take it in the long photos and the photos never turn out how you think they're going to. And for taking photos, you literally don't need any fancy equipment. I literally just use my phone to take the photos, and as you can see, I don't think my photos look too shabby. But the second reason why your item might not be selling is because of its price. If you just price your items fairly, they're definitely going to sell a lot quicker. But you might be thinking, how do I do that? I don't really know what I'm doing. I haven't been doing Depop for too long. What I would do is just research your items before you list them. What I mean by that, there's 3 ways that I research my item price before I list them. What I would do for a t-shirt like this, for example, or the one that I'm currently wearing, which are both available on my Depop, link in the description. Literally all I would do is just search on Depop band tee, or if you know the band like AC/DC band tee, for example, and just kind of see what other people are listing them up for. This isn't really accurate though, just where these are obviously what people want for the items, not what they're actually selling for. This is where the second research method comes into play. Find a seller that sells items like the one you're looking for example t-shirts. Scroll down to their sold and kind of see what their t-shirts are selling for, or their jumpers or their jackets, and then you can kind of gauge what stuff actually sells for. I like to do this on multiple different accounts just so you can kind of get more of an average. And then the third way, which isn't really too effective for a lot of items, is to search them on eBay and filter it to sold items and just kind of see what items are selling for. This is a lot quicker than going through Depop. However, eBay is a very different kind of beast to Depop in a way, because stuff that sells on eBay for maybe £20 could go for 30 on Depop, but then that's vice versa. So it could sell on eBay for 40 and then only 10 on Depop. So that's not really the best way of researching it, but for things like sports tops and sports team jerseys, that's the way I would do it. But if you're finding any of the tips helpful up to this point, drop the video a like, it'd be so appreciated. The third reason why your item might not be selling is because of the type of item it is. Fast fashion like H&M, Top Man and stuff like that won't really sell too well. If you're looking to sell stuff more like that, I would go onto Vinted. If you want to see a little comparison of Depop versus Vinted as well, that video will also be in the cards and in the description. So many more videos to watch when you're done with this one. What sells a little bit better on Depop is all kind of vintage stuff like Y2K, 90s, 80s, 70s, all kind of stuff like that. The fourth reason why your items might not be selling is because of the amount of effort you're putting into Depop. People join Depop and think selling is just going to be a walk in the park. Little tip for you, it's not. The type of things I'm talking about when putting in effort are refreshing your items, ironing and washing your items before you list them, because that's really key. Would you buy something that's all creased up? Don't think so. The speed you reply to your messages is also so key. Like, I can't stress how key it is. I've said it before, literally every time I get a Depop notification, I check just in case it's a message. Because you reply in the first 5 to 10 minutes, you've got so much more chance of making that sale than if you reply 3 hours later when the buyer's either bought someone else's item or they're just not interested anymore. And as well, when replying to messages, being nice to people is so easy to do. No matter what they message you, even if they're lowballing you, just be nice to them. 2 reasons that lowball could be negotiated into a sale. And as well, if you're not nice to them and they do buy your item, they're not going to give you a good review. That is also key to another reason why your items aren't selling. Say you got loads of bad reviews. Would you buy off someone that has bad reviews? Once again, I don't think so. Like, the average time it takes me to do one item, literally start to finish, is 8 minutes. Doesn't sound like a lot, I know. That's ironing it, taking any photos, writing the description, and just any other little bits. And if you times 8 minutes by the amount of items that I've got on my Depop, which is roughly about 100, you get 800 minutes. And if you do a bit of quick math, that's 13 hours that it's taken to do all them 100 items. So it does take quite a long time to do your items. And refreshing your items as well, what I would do, I would probably do it every 2 to 3 hours maybe. If you don't know what I mean by refreshing your items, what I mean is, as you can see, all you got to do is literally just click edit and click post listing, and there you've just refreshed your items. I would say for every 20 items it takes about 1 minute. Say you got 100 items, that's 5 minutes. You can tell I was top set maths. In year 11 I got dropped to 2nd or 3rd, but we won't talk about that. But then the 5th reason why your items aren't selling is your bio and your descriptions. As you can see, what I do for my descriptions, this is the way I would lay it out if I was you, if you've never used Depop before. In the first section, I'd have what the item is, then followed by the size and the measurements. Add measurements to your post. It's so key. It takes seconds. Once again, another video up in the cards and in the description on how to measure your clothes. Then I would put whether it has flaws or anything like that. And then just free shipping to the UK if you do that, or whatever your shipping price is. And then message me for more details. I think it's quite inviting for the buyer. If you have that in there, it just kind of makes them more comfortable, maybe more likely just to message you about the item. Then on to bios. There's really only one thing to avoid doing with bios, and it's the thing that a lot of Depop accounts have that I see. Not gonna lie, I used to do it back in the day, but it's putting no refunds and no returns in the bio. If you read that on someone's account you were gonna buy from, would you be too keen on buying from that person? I don't think so. So just get rid of that stuff out of your description. And as well, you do offer refunds. You kind of have to, kind of law. And as well, even if you don't like it, someone will state up a claim against you and get their refund by force. So there's no point putting it in there. It means nothing. The last reason why your items aren't selling is because your shipping times. I try and ship next day or literally first thing the next morning. People really like it. Because once again, would you like if your item got shipped quickly? I would. This is really what you kind of got to do. Place yourself in the position of the buyer when looking at your account and think, would I buy from this person? And if the answer is no, think about why and just adapt on that and improve. These are literally all the reasons why your item isn't selling. If you have found this video helpful or learned something, please drop it a like. It'd be so appreciated. Comment down below any questions you might have. I'll get back to you ASAP. If you have learned anything from this video or found it helpful, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and comment down below any videos you'd like to see in the future.